This offseason could turn out to be an interesting one for Russell Westbrook. Apparently, the EuroCup champions are preparing to offer Russell Westbrook a contract never before seen in European basketball. And this is not some backroom news. Major sports articles and outlets have reported on this, including Sports Illustrated and Yahoo Sports. So the rumor itself is getting somewhere. And when there's smoke, there is fire. And I firmly believe that, yes, this club is likely going to offer Russell Westbrook a pretty sizable contract. However, that raises the question, would Russell Westbrook go to play basketball over in Europe? And a couple of years ago, this would be very easily declinable. Whether that was from the individual excellence of Russell Westbrook when he was with even Washington, or also from the fact that at that time, any former NBA player who was going to play basketball in Europe was not necessarily the biggest name at that point in time. But then you get guys like Kemba Walker and Patrick Beverley, who, yes, are on the downhill end of their careers, but those are still pretty big names to be going over and playing in Europe. And considering that Russell Westbrook is in the latter half of his career, is it entirely unfeasible that he would go as well? To really break it down, let's first go into reasons why Russell Westbrook would maybe consider going. And first of all, wherever he goes, it would be his team. Because this is someone who, for the past few years now, has not really got the chance to have his own team. Once upon a time, he was the guy in Oklahoma City, an excellent partner to James Harden in Houston, and even in Washington, he became the all time triple double leader. But ever since then, whether it's with the Lakers or the Clippers or the Denver Nuggets, he has seen his role be diminished. And when you are playing at the highest level of professional sport, you have an exuberant amount of confidence. You have to, because everyone around you is very, very talented, but those who believe that they can be the best in the world, those are the ones that have a better chance at going on to actually accomplish that. And so, with that confidence, Russell Westbrook may feel as though he can be more than your rotational six man off the bench. And going over to play basketball in Europe, Russell Westbrook is going to immediately come in, and it's his team. And that could be appealing. But that's about the only reason that I can truly think of for him going to Europe. Because in my mind, the answer of if he would go on to accept this contract and leave the NBA to play overseas, my answer is a definitive no. I do not believe Russell Westbrook will do so. Here's why. First of all, for as appealing as it might be for him to have his own team, I think at this stage in his career, Russell Westbrook has come to the realization that he's not going to have his own team anymore. And he has accepted that fact and has turned it around in a manner in which he is committed to just going out there and playing his hardest, putting 110% effort out there, no matter how many minutes the team gives him, no matter how big a role, no matter how much trust this organization places in him. I think Russell Westbrook at this stage in his career, we've seen it in these last couple of stints. I think LA really signified in his mind with the way that he was just a bad fit there. That signified in his mind that he could not be that guy anymore, especially if he is in the right situation. That's not a discredit to Russell Westbrook because father time comes for everyone. And he's still a very good player. But I think with that whole confidence thing, that Los Angeles stint, you've got so many eyes on you, and he didn't perform the greatest. And so I think that was a little bit of a hit to his confidence. And now going to the Clippers and then the Denver Nuggets, I think he got a chance to redefine himself and still remain confident, but in a different way. To be effective to the best of his ability at this point is not necessarily to be the number one guy, but instead to fill your role to the best of your ability. And that's precisely what Russell Westbrook has done. I think he has identified himself in that role now, and he has accepted it at the very least. Secondly, of course, this contract is stated as something never before seen in European basketball. But how much is that really going to be compared to NBA money? Because money from the association is on an entirely different magnitude. Sasha Vazenkov is on the highest paid contract, and he's only making 3.7 million annually. So with that, and I'm not saying that this decision is going to be a money thing for Russell Westbrook. I don't think he's the kind of guy that is his decisions are predicated on money. But at the end of the day, pretty much any team in the league is going to be able to offer Russell Westbrook a little bit more. So I bring that up to say that no matter how record breaking this deal may be, is that really going to sway Russell Westbrook in terms of financials? So you don't necessarily have all the financial power in the world to bring Westbrook over. You don't have the constant urge for Westbrook to be the guy anymore, in my opinion. And then another factor is kind of that passion for basketball because the NBA is, of course, regarded as the most prominent position in basketball in the entire world. This is where all the stars want to go and where the best of the best make their name. And Russell Westbrook is someone who has a passion for the game almost like no other. You see it every time he plays. He plays his heart out, hustles on every possession. Sometimes he can make plays that make you question his IQ. We, of course, especially saw that with the Los Angeles Lakers. But at the end of the day, he is out there trying and giving 110% of his efforts. And we've got someone who so evidently loves the game of basketball and wants to make sizable contributions every given night. They're going to want to play at the highest level of basketball, and that is the National Basketball Association. So with that passion from Russell Westbrook, I don't see him going elsewhere, going overseas, because I don't think it feels that desire in his mind, in his heart, in his soul to be competing at a high level on the highest level. And lastly, my final reason for Russell Westbrook, in my opinion, to be declining this offer is the fact that if we are in the winding down of his career, in the latter stages, in the final few years of the career of Russell Westbrook, I don't think he wants to go out overseas. I would love, and I think a lot of fans would love, I think Russell Westbrook would love to see him go out on a high note, perhaps in Oklahoma City. This is someone who was the face of the franchise for the longest time there. Someone who an entire generation of NBA fans and especially OKC fans really looked up to there. Someone who was there for the team and the organization when Kevin Durant left. And so no matter how you looked at his play, there's always that deeper connection there because he was perceived as being there for them, being the hero when Kevin Durant kind of became the villain of the league. Russell Westbrook has that connection to Oklahoma City. And his jersey number 0 is going to be hanging up in the rafters there, no doubt, in the Paycom Center by the time that it is all said and done. And now you also consider the fact that Russell Westbrook is still without a ring in his NBA career. In the OKC Thunder, they're in the NBA Finals right now. And given how young this team is, and the fact that they're probably only going to get better, as crazy as that might sound, they have the potential to be a championship team for years to come. And that's never guaranteed in the NBA, but for Russell Westbrook, it seems almost like the perfect situation. Because now, yes, you're not going to be up there with SGA necessarily in terms of that pecking order of the point guard spot. But now you've kind of accepted your role more so in being just a valuable contributing piece, no matter what that entails. And so have that acceptance with you and to go back to the home where you were loved by the entirety of the fan base to the point where even when you come back, when you come home and you're playing for the opposing team, they can't help but cheer you, especially when you come in. I think if Russell Westbrook is in the twilight years of his career, there's no better way for him to go out than with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And you combine all these factors, and yes, he might have his own team if he went over to Europe. But other than that, the financials aren't going to be the same as the NBA. He has kind of recognized his role at this point in time and has largely seemed to accept it. This is someone who is very passionate about the game of basketball, loves the game of basketball, so he probably wants to play at the highest level and to have the chance to go out on a high note with the Oklahoma City Thunder, both a championship contender and even perhaps more importantly, the team that he can call home. I believe Russell Westbrook is going to stay in the NBA. And it's very interesting to hear of this offer, but ultimately, I firmly believe that Russell Westbrook will stay in the National Basketball Association. And even if the money was better, I still don't know if that would be enough to take him over the top and go. And as interesting as this offer is, as interesting as it is to hear how there's even the slightest possibility that he goes overseas, I just simply don't see it happening. Because for Russell Westbrook, his life's work is on the hardwood court of the NBA.